Left St. Louis, crossed the Great Mississippi, Ole Miss, which is quite a sight in itself. We're in Alton, Illinois, looking for the Alton Giant Robert Wadlow. When he was 8 years old, he was already 6 foot tall. Looks like he died about age 22, 21 or 22. He was 8'4". Some say a little taller than that, but at least 8'4". He was working for Brown Group, which is a shoe company. By the way, I worked for that company in the early 80s. And I still remember going to year-end meetings in St. Louis, and they would have his shoes on display, which they would custom make for him and give them to him free. He wore size 37. So he represents a Brown shoe, Brown Group, and he's traveling America, 41 different states. He makes 800 stops at different cities. He's traveling with his father when he develops blisters on his feet because he couldn't feel, there's no sensation in his feet. So he develops blisters, which turns into infections, and the infection traveled throughout his body and took his life. They just couldn't save him, sadly. Sandy Allen is the world's largest female at the time, and she's buried just outside of Indianapolis, and maybe one day we can make our way and visit with her. And now this is exactly what we're doing. We're at the gravesite of Sandy Allen, the world's tallest female. She's interred here in Shelbyville, Indiana. She stands 7'7", 1/4 inch tall. Quite a legendary character. She fit in with the rest of the common folk here in this part of the country. I do remember her coming into a grocery store I worked at. Standard Grocery. This is in Crawfordsville, Indiana.
Indiana is now the home of the tallest living woman in the world. By 5/16 of an inch, 19-year-old Sandy Allen will replace the 7'5" woman from India in the next edition of the Guinness World Book of Records. The problems of standing 7 feet 5 and 5/16 inches tall and weighing 421 pounds are enormous. Sandy has to make all of her clothes. Her shoes come from a king-size men's store, size 16 triple E. At the state office building in Indianapolis, where Sandy works as a clerk stenographer, she had to build her desk to size by setting it on blocks. Sandy's stature was caused by an overactive thyroid. Are you sensitive about your height and the publicity you're getting, or do you enjoy it?
When I was a freshman in high school, I used to get a lot of comments about my height, and especially from the boys, and that used to really upset me. But now that I've gotten to be the world's tallest woman, I'm going to take advantage of all the publicity I can get. I'm really enjoying it now. That's why I feel like if I grow a few more inches, what the heck.
How's your love life?
I'm afraid my social life is just about nil. I've never had a date in my life.
At 5 feet 3 inches tall, this is Kim Beach reporting from Indianapolis.
Sandy has just a terrific sense of humor, nice personality. She would often travel around and speak with elementary schools with what it's like to be a little bit different. She talked about the challenges of traveling, getting on airplanes, getting in cars, and sleeping in normal beds. Now let's get on down the road to Kentucky. Kentucky it is. We're in Erlanger, Kentucky. This will be our only stop in the state of Kentucky. James Kenneth Price, better known as Kenny Price. He's a country music star, often appearing on Hee Haw as part of the Hee Haw Gospel Quartet. He has 34 singles on the country charts between 19 '66 and 1980. His biggest hits were Walking on New Grass and Happy Tracks. He's a big fella, 6'6", weighing 300 pounds. He called himself the Round Mound of Sound.
This is the shortest song in the world.
I can't believe I got this music in the video without a copyright strike. He dies of a heart attack at the young age of 56 while living in Florence, Kentucky, right next door. We're in Cincinnati, going up the drive of the Hillside Chapel Crematory and Columbarium. This place is built in 1887. Cincinnati's most notable residents are interred here. This place is very private and well protected. Normally you have to make an appointment, and they request only immediate family members can go in. Oftentimes the door's locked. I've been here before and could not get in. I gotta say, they're not real friendly. If you read their Google reviews, they got some challenges. Well, I made it in, and I'm very surprised that they showed me where Ruth Lyons is interred. This is her husband, Herman. And right above Ruth is her daughter, Candy. And we have Ruth Lyons. She was a popular radio and television personality on WLW TV and radio. She hosted the 50/50 Club that aired daily at noon. It got its name 50/50 Club because there were 50 individuals in the live audience per show. And by the way, it was showed live Monday through Friday. She's known for her flower-covered microphone. I remember it well. She has so much influence that her mere mention of a household product drove sales through the roof in the Cincinnati area, which also includes Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana, Dayton, and Lima, Ohio.
Where's everyone from? Couldn't we act like a group of ladies and gentlemen today? Look at this nice man here, so well behaved. He didn't shout. Where are you from? Bell Fountain. Anybody from Dayton today? Dayton here. Columbus. Troy. Where's Troy? Xenia. Salina. Washington Courthouse.
And they came in their white gloves, for Ruth had established that tradition for her studio audiences, and she gave them a chance to show them off on each show.
Let's wave to the folks who are watching. Say hello to the folks listening in. We want you to see. We hope you agree. We really are lovely on Color TV.
You got a lot of people that watched that lived on farms and that sort of thing that didn't get around that much. And so she was their window to the world.
Mr. Nixon, Mr. Kennedy are debating. I think they're being entirely too adorable, both of them.
Yes, they are. This won't be a fighting debate. I don't think either has the opportunity to ask the other a direct question.
I don't like that kind of debate. I like to just stand right up to one another and say, do you think so? Why do you think so?
Chin to chin.
Chin to chin.
No, I don't think so.
The way they're going to do it is that the members of the press will ask a question, and then...
Well, that's no debate.
Then they each
there should be no press in it if you're going to debate.
But they each get to answer, and then the other gets to criticize the other's answer. So that, in effect, will be a type of debate.
I wish I could have gotten in on that. There's a few things I'd like to know.
There wouldn't have been any time for them.
I want to find out where they're getting their dresses, you know? Isn't that silly, that business they're going on with now about where do the women buy their clothes? So what, you wear a Mother Hubbard or you wear a Dior gown? What's that got to do with how the United States works out? They're bringing in, that's why I say they're being too adorable. Let's get to the issues, let's find out what we must know, and I think we need a little more toe-to-toe.
She retires in 1967 after the sad death of her daughter Candy. Candy dies of cancer. Ruth never made another public appearance after her daughter's death, and she lives in seclusion until she dies in 1988. I'm not sure who this is, but Clifford Lash was the musical director for the Ruth Lyons show. Also plays a lot of piano. One more stop in this area I think we can do before we get ran out. You'll probably recognize the name of Jurgens, Jurgens soap. His father actually starts the company. He has Andrew the son work in every department within the company, research, development and such, advertising. Even works in the perfume department, the fragrances. Upon the father's death, Andrew takes over the company, grows it to a multi-million-dollar operation worldwide. To this very day, Jurgens lotion is the #1 selling product worldwide. This place is really nice. Nice and clean. Everything's kept up. Lots of empty room. Let's just keep going. We're still in Cincinnati. About the middle of Cincinnati. This is a cemetery that's been around for years. A cemetery of Spring Grove. We'll make several stops within this cemetery. Memorial Park. Walking up on a grave of Bob Braun. He works with Ruth Lyons, who we just paid our respects to. Bob Braun takes over the 50-50 Club when Ruth Lyons retired in 1967.
Here's Bob!
The secret word today is Delco Remy, I understand. Is that right? We have some retirees? Or Anderson, Indiana. Either way, we're all right. Great big crowd from over there in the Hoosier State, and it's good to welcome you here today. I think I may have seen some of you up there when we were in Anderson to do a show not too long ago. And when are we going to be back there, Clifford? I think it's on April the 10th, isn't it? We're going to be up there at the Elks Club, or one of the clubs where they have shows all the time. You're going to come see us? Good. You can bring me a relay switch or something from Delco Remy, if you will. We'll meet some of them, and we have people from all over the area today. And we have the Platters with us today, and a young girl, and it's not our discovery, but it's a discovery of almost everybody in Cincinnati about how outstanding she is when she sings. She's only 17, can sing in English, in German, and in French and Italian. Can you believe that? Well, I sing in 2 languages, English and Ludlow, so I mean, you know, what are you going to do, right, Rob? What are you going to open with today, Robert?
I'm going to sing Country Boy. Country Boy.
Hey, she's going to do an aria and you're going to do Country Boy?
Well, a little culture shock never did anybody any harm.
That's right. It's culture time, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Rob Ryder.
Then Ruth, still, it was on Channel 5 coming out of Cincinnati. High noon, I'd watch as much as I could. The reason, I was just a youngster. I think I was 12 years old or so. Major Cincinnati Reds fan, Bengals. Bob would often have the players on for interviews. I enjoyed the program as a Midwest regional program, did very well in the ratings. Primarily aired in Ohio, of course. Yeah, nothing on the back. Aired in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. When I'm doing these cemetery tours, I like it better when there's headstones above ground. Makes it much easier to find. Now we're at the section of the Crosleys. Many Crosleys are interred here. Well known in Cincinnati area, also throughout the Midwest, and in some circles worldwide. Powel Crosley is an overachiever in life. You know, we all know somebody that's successful in about anything they do, and real go-getters. That was definitely Powel Crosley. Mr. Crosley was an entrepreneur, also an inventor. He was a pioneer in the radio and broadcasting business, and he was the owner of WLW TV and radio. You may recall that Ruth Lyons and Bob Braun broadcasted from the WLW studios. He was also the owner of the Cincinnati Reds. Crosley Field was named in his honor before they tore it down when the Reds moved to Riverfront Stadium. This is in 1970. He also develops the Crosley automobile. It was known for its straight six. Today, the Crosley automobile is highly sought after by collectors. When I came to Cincinnati on this tour, one of the first things I did is I went to the Crosley building, which is now condemned. This building is where they manufactured radios. By the way, they built the cars in Connersville, Indiana, just west of here. I didn't quite make it up to the tower. The tower in this picture was Mr. Crosley's office. I did my best, but the upper floors have been removed. Oh well, I tried my best, and it's a good experience. Our next stop here in Cincinnati is the grave of William Procter. He's originally from England. He's encouraged by friends and family to come to America. Along the way, while they're traveling, his first wife dies. He only planned on staying in the Cincinnati area a short time, but ends up establishing a candle making business, which was doing very well when he meets and marries Olivia Norris, whose father also had a candle making business that was doing extremely well. Very well-to-do family. Needed lots of candles back in those days. At his father-in-law's suggestion, he joins forces with James Gamble. They begin to manufacture ivory soap, and the company exploded with unbelievable profits. Next, we'll find a grave location. You guessed it, James Gamble. You know, I'm just deathly afraid of snakes, and I've actually seen them in shrubbery like this. Okay, on to James Gamble. By the way, if you want, you can go to eBay and buy ivory soap, vintage ivory soap for $75. These were manufactured in 1940. I've mentioned in other videos that when the headstones are above ground, they're much easier to find, especially like this one. As it turns out, James Gamble was married to Olivia Norris's sister. Her name was Elizabeth Norris. So this would make William Procter and James Gamble brother-in-laws. Once they formed the partnership Procter & Gamble, they quickly earned over $1 million. That's a whole lot of money back in that day. They also won the contract to supply soap for the Union Army. One of the most important thing is to get your soap product on a retail shelf. It's just my imagination that one of them said, I know a fella by name of Bernard Kroger who has a grocery store here in Cincinnati. Right through the white oak tree branches, we'll see the name Kroger. Bernard Kroger, he went by Henry. Friends called him Henry Kroger. Also has a tall headstone, just like Gamble, James Gamble, and others in this cemetery. It's interesting that they're all located at Spring Grove Cemetery here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Bernard Henry Kroger. It was Mr. Kroger who introduced the self-service shopping to the public. This is back in 1895. He also pioneered in-store bakeries and meat departments. He was born here in Cincinnati, a local native. This is a Kroger's home office located downtown, and also close by is a P&G building, bringing much needed economy into the Cincinnati area and nationwide. By 1920, there were 5,500 grocery stores, quite a chain. This is his first store located at 66 Pearl Street. You can save your receipts and earn free dishes and cookware. Also like to mention that Kroger is fired twice from dry goods stores. He was told he'll never make it in retail. Never give up, folks. Okay, that wraps this one up. Everybody needs to be remembered. Look forward to seeing you on the next one here in the Midwest area.